Hungry?
All right, guys. Well, I guess I'm introing it.
I didn't realize. My bad, guys.
No, I love it so much. Anyway, okay, in true fashion. Well, not true fashion
No,
because
not
this is
true
actually a
fashion.
new
No,
thing that we just started doing. Yeah.
I was about to
Yeah.
say not true fashion because Milena goes, "Hey, what do you want to talk about?" And my response was, "Don't even tell me, just pick the topic." So I'm going to steal the thunder with the intro and I'm going to say, "Welcome back to our podcast. We're so glad you're here. We're so excited." Milena, what are we talking about?
We are going to talk about a really hard, icky topic today because I know she totally wants to. So, because it's such a huge controversy in the world
Oh God.
and it's a huge controversy in adoption, you can probably
God.
see we are going to talk about the A word. We are going to talk about abortion. You might not have heard it with your grown. Let me say it one more time. We're going to talk about abortion today
I just knew it. I
because
knew it. I just knew it. I knew it. I walked out of that Bible study tonight and I just knew it. I
but
knew it.
here's the thing. If our opinion differs from you, I'm going to say this right now. I don't want to hear from you. If you can't be respectful and adult about things because we may view different than you, then fine. You're allowed to have your opinion. We are allowed to have our opinion. Let's keep it peaceful and happy. You come at me with, I'll block you. Delancey will rip your head off, but I'll block you.
I was gonna say I won't block you. I'll
No.
just
She'll take it.
basically tell you.
She'll do it for
I'll
both of
tell you
us.
why you're
Yeah.
wrong to tell
Yeah.
me to change my mind. I will
Exactly.
explain to you where you are incorrect.
No, which I love that about her. So, okay. No, I do.
Clearly, I'm the feisty one out of the two of us.
We're going to talk about abortion today, which it is a really heavy topic. I was talking to my husband about it before. Do you want me to go first while you get thoughts all put together, or do you want to go first? I'm good either way.
Um, I get. God, I'm so uncomfortable. But I like being uncomfortable. Let me preface that. I like being uncomfortable because I have learned that in the moments that I'm uncomfortable, it makes me vulnerable and it makes me more honest about who I am, and where I stand. So even though I just said, "Oh, I'm so uncomfortable," I don't care if I'm uncomfortable. I'm still going to speak my mind. Like
Yes.
God has me on this planet for a reason. So, um, I, where are we starting? I mean, there is such a
I don't know. I don't know.
broad range.
I do want to piggyback on what you said about like uncomfortable because being uncomfortable makes you grow so much. Like it really makes you
Oh
grow.
yeah.
And you probably can't see me when I get really uncomfortable. I play with my hands and my rings, and that's what I'm doing underneath right here.
I just make
See me
I
doing
just
that.
make facial expressions.
Yeah,
That's
you
like
can't see me doing that. But no, let's just like, I don't know, jump right. Oh, my dog. Jump right into it about I don't know, just how we feel about it, the thoughts, the feelings, everything that's going around with it, all those kinds of things with abortion.
I love it. You're like the thoughts, the feelings, all the things, and it's
Yeah.
like I don't want to talk about all the things because like when you talk about all the things and like I
Okay.
think
Well,
the
let me.
biggest thing
Oh, no,
is
go
to
ahead. Go ahead.
acknowledge how absolutely wackadoodle all sides have started coming across with this topic, especially with Roe v. Wade and all that stuff that was going on. I I think there is something to be said that a lot of people have shown, and this is all sides, both sides, all sides, whatever side you're on. I have seen a very like I'm sorry, but like when you're expressing your opinion and you're throwing in, like, as you're expressing your opinion and you're throwing insults at other people, your opinion or your stance immediately loses validity. It's spelling, it's grammar, throwing personal insults at people. You're losing validity in your stance.
Agreed.
I don't care what side you stand on, you can stand on it without insulting the other side, without telling them, to go blank themselves or flipping them in the middle finger or whatever. Like, I mean, you can say that internally if you want, whatever strikes your fancy. But when you are making a public statement on your stance and you attack the other side, like I'm sure we're going to end up getting attacked by some people. I'm sure we are.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, it is what it is at this point.
No,
I mean, we've
it's
already gotten
true.
attacked on certain other things and it's fine. When you make personal attacks or you misconstrue something, like you take something out of context and you say something that didn't happen, your stance immediately loses validity.
Right. I
So,
agree.
whatever side you stand on, just little pearls of wisdom through
Well,
my
and I
many years of
love that
life.
you brought that up because that's just the world today in general, not with this topic that we're talking about, but with every little thing in the world today. It is like, oh no, she's kind of freezing. Dang it. Nobody's home at my house either because they all left. I'm just going to talk about it. But no, what to like piggyback off of her is like, I agree with her. Like, and that's where I think I get frustrated. And I don't know if she can still hear me. She's frozen. Feels so weird doing this by myself. But
Hello, are you there?
okay.
I swear I'm here.
I know. Well, that was fun. Not at all. That was not fun. Anyway, I talked for a minute. I just kept going off of what you said. And I just said you if you're not
I swear
watching,
it's not my internet. I
no,
don't know
it's
what's
mine.
happening.
It was mine
Oh,
because
is it yours?
all of a sudden it just shut down. My internet's like it's unstable. But anyway, you guys have to watch that. Delancey missed the chunk of it. Me piggybacking off of what she said, and then me saying this is really awkward because it's not a show by myself because I just kept trying to talk, and then all of a sudden you hear Delancey go, "Hello, are you there?" And then, bam!
You know
So
what?
watch YouTube. It'll be funny.
That's what we would call in our Bible study earlier. We call that spiritual warfare. When things are starting to move like in a right direction, you're doing things, and then just things just start to crash. Welcome to a real life example of spiritual warfare.
Amen. No, seriously though, for real. Anyway, what I was saying, I was just agreeing with Delancey on everything. Is it's just like though, like I said before, it's the way the world's gotten, and it's just really sad. And like there's no need for that. And I think it's healthy for to have people to have different
Yeah.
opinions, but there's no need to be degrading and nasty and
Mm-hmm.
disgusting about it. That's where
Mm-hmm.
like it just hurts all of humanity when you do that. So anyway,
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
what are your thoughts and feels? Here's the thing too that I want to start off because I was talking to my husband about this before. There's so many different kinds of topics with this topic, like different areas of it that you can talk about. Because he's like, "Ooh, what are you guys? Are you gonna talk about that? Are you gonna talk about this?" And I'm like, "Well, do you want to come do it?" So he was very invested in it, but like, there really is though, because there's different things. I mean, me and Delancey have talked about it a little bit before, but we've never gone really in depth to it. And you can probably see that we're on the same side. I actually scared her half to death. I've never seen Delancey never make eye contact with me. I said something and her head seriously just stayed down.
Just like dropped down, and I refused to look up because I basically was like, I
And I'm
just
like,
okay.
I'm like, just kidding. And she's like, oh, ooh, okay. Like I was trying to figure out how to be nice to you and try to look at you.
Dude, facts. Like I was literally sitting there thinking to myself, like,
But look at her being an adult, collecting her thoughts before. You know what I mean? See,
yeah,
it
because
was
like
going to be healthy. It was going to be a healthy
it
argument.
was going to be a healthy leading down the path of self-discovery for one of us.
Right.
So
I love it so much. Okay.
yeah.
Anyway, so do we want to pick like I don't even know. See, that's the hard thing is there's so many different types.
Where do you start? Yeah, where do you start?
Honestly, okay, I'll just jump straight out the gate as I rip this gum wrapper. I'm not for abortion at all. I'll say it straight up. Now, I know there are instances. This is where I'm saying the topic can get icky because me and Delancey talked about this too. We understand. We wholeheartedly understand that there are times, rhymes, and reason. My dog came out of her kennel. Sorry, scared me half to death. But that it may be necessary. I understand that. I know people personally who, when they have, it's kind of a life or death situation and they have to make tougher than shit decision of what they're going to do. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, we lose both of you, we lose one of you, we lose, you know what I mean? It's just the way that it is, or the baby isn't necessarily fully, what do you call it? Functional, put together, all
Mm-hmm.
those kinds of things. It sounds really bad.
It's
But you
not,
know what I
it's
mean?
not, it's not medically, the medical, I want to say, I could be wrong. I don't know, but I feel like it's not viable outside the womb is what a doctor would tell you.
Correct. Correct. So those instances, I get it. But and Delancey said this too, like
Those
with me,
are,
like
that's so few and far between though. You know what,
exactly.
the percentage, if you look at, and I don't have the data in front of me. I don't,
Right. Neither of us do.
I just don't. However, my understanding is that the percentage of those things are so small
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that it there should, instead of it being a blanket rule,
Yeah.
there are exceptions to a rule. That's
Amen.
why there are exceptions to all rules. That's why there are exceptions to those things. And that I just
No, I totally agree. And that's where this is where it gets hard. And Delancey was even saying, like, because oh, I'm just gonna jump right into it, okay?
yeah, go for it.
And people are probably gonna hate me for it, but I'm sorry. I don't feel like your stupid decisions of your own decision making is a
Mm-hmm.
reason to take a life. That's just me. This is just like, I don't know how graphic on here. But like my biggest thing is if you can't keep your damn leg shut and you continue to not keep your damn leg shut, like that's a you problem. You need to figure that out. Yes, I'm being really blunt and honest right now. Like, and this
Okay.
is a reoccurring thing. Like, get your shit together. And people are probably gonna come at me for that. But that's where I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, but and there's ways too, like Delancey was saying there's something you could do.
There's just, to me, there's too many avenues of birth control that are readily available.
Yes, yes.
It's one of those things where it's not it's not a taboo topic with the world that we live in today.
Correct.
It's not taboo anymore. It's not a secret. There are so many things that are available too that are preventative measures. Now I do think, and then also on top of that, there's so many educational avenues as to how this occurs. We have
Mm-hmm.
had two birth mothers that we have interviewed that when they were younger and they got pregnant, that they had no knowledge of,
How big is their leg?
reproduction and the different
Mm-hmm.
things that go into that.
Yeah.
They had no knowledge behind it. Now, that is, to me, that's a breakdown in family, in educational systems, different things like that. But
Correct.
if you're, I feel as though there, at the end of the day, your choices have consequences,
Yeah.
whether they are, and consequences, I don't mean that as like you just have to deal with the results of choices. At the end of the day, results of choices are what happen. And there are just way too many avenues now
Yeah.
to do preventative measures. And as much as I don't agree with some of the avenues you do not have to have parental consent
Right.
for,
Right.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I do think that there
Agreed.
is a certain level of maturity that
Yes.
teenagers do not have.
Agreed.
However, that being said, I appreciate that those preventative measures are still available to them,
Yes.
the without having to go to their mom or go to their
Correct.
dad or whomever and say
Right.
that they want to do it. I think that I'm with you. I do not agree with that being a solution to the quote unquote problem.
Right.
I don't think, I don't know. I just think there's too many preventative measures out there. There's just too many
Yeah,
different things to
no,
do to
I
prevent
agree.
it. So I just
And
think that's convenient.
I love what you said about like the education. And yes, I know
Hmm.
it's unfortunate in some families. Even to this day, I know some very Christian
Hmm.
families who don't talk about this stuff. And I'm like, why? If we're not having these open conversations, then of
Right.
course this crap's going to happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
And granted, I also understand you can talk to a kid until you're blue in the face about all this stuff. And sometimes it
Hmm.
just doesn't set in. It doesn't happen. They still go do their own
Yep.
thing. They still go find their own way. But if you're willing to have these open, and yes, they are healthy conversations for kids to learn
Yes.
about these things, then you can help there. But also Delancey said, like, teach them about different things to help prevent it. Like, how hard is that to do? I don't know. We won't get too icky in it, because I mean, yeah, I hope y'all are most adults and you know kind of what we're talking about, where we don't have to be specific. But
Yeah. Right. Where we don't have to be too
yeah,
specific,
yeah,
but
because I don't feel like we need to. But it's just like, and I know there's different situations. Like my husband actually brought this up. What are your feels? I'm going to ask you this, Delancey. What are your feels on rape?
that it's wrong.
Well, like an abortion,
That
if
it's
that, if that,
terrible. I mean, I don't like, what was I supposed to say to that particular question? I mean,
if
what,
it, if even, let me come
I
back with
answered
it.
the question. I
You
answered
did,
the question. You
you
can't be
did.
mad at me for that. Like I
So
answered it. You
if
asked the question, I answered
I should have asked it like this: if pregnancy happens
it.
from rape, there we go. I love how she lightened the mood with that.
I mean, it just goes back to this meme I see all the time that says, "I don't care the situation. I'm always going to crack a little jokey joke." Always going to be me.
It's like
Always.
Chandler on Friends. I love it.
I'm telling you, I have I laugh at the worst times and crack jokes sometimes at the worst times, but it can lighten a mood, so it's good. It's a
Yeah.
blessing in disguise.
No, for sure.
Um, I think that oh God, I can understand how a woman that has been sexually assaulted, raped, would have hesitation to go to the hospital to be checked out, that she may feel ashamed, she may be feel um self-loathing, you know,
Right.
blame herself, it's her fault.
Right.
Um I can understand all of those things.
Yeah.
I As I'm saying that, it's actually starting to click in my head now that that may be why they have made plan B readily available.
Right.
I didn't
Exactly.
fully understand why that was until as I was just making those statements,
Saying
it
that.
literally just clicked in my head. Oh, got it. Um, I mean, it's on like we're just gonna make something up, like aisle 7
Yeah. No,
of
no, really though.
pharmacies. Like
Yeah.
it's readily available. You don't have to go talk to the pharmacist. Most pharmacies now, CVS and Walgreens, have self-checkout.
Right.
You don't, like, there are different avenues to where you do not have to interact with a human being
Right.
to have that taken care of. um this is where my stance on abortion becomes a little muddied, and I readily admit that. I readily admit my stance on abortion comes a little muddied on this, because with the percentage of rape pregnancies or incest pregnancies, which
Right.
are often
Happens
classified
too.
as
Yeah. Yeah.
rape. I I do think that there is a certain, I don't think that a child should be punished for that. However, again, this is where it's muddied for me. And I'm still doing a lot of soul searching for this. I think that it's not my place to look at a woman who's been through something like that and tell her, no, you have to do this for 9 months. You went through the worst thing that could ever happen to a woman, the absolute worst thing that you could ever go through. And I want you to relive it for 9 months and then look at the embodiment of it for 18 years. Now, I'm not saying that's what the child is, but in their mind, I can understand how they would see that.
Right.
However, I do think that there is a statute of limitations as to the time period where it would be, in my mind, it would be considered quote unquote okay, I guess. Like, again, this is totally muddied. And I know a lot of you are probably listening to this and going, she crazy, like this doesn't make any sense. Like
Oh,
she's backing up. But I think in that instance, it is a very definitive difference of if the woman is not in the mental health space
right.
to do that,
Right.
then I could understand that a little more
Right.
if it was within, you know, a certain time period. I don't know. I almost feel like it would have to be a few weeks. I almost feel like 8 weeks is too far
Like, oh,
because they're starting to, form into like the image of what God wants them to be in. So that's where it gets a little muddy for me. I do think, though, now we are in a time period where women are more empowered. So the likelihood of that making it that far is not as high. I think that's why the percentages are so low now,
right.
because women are taking the actions of going to the hospital, reporting,
Right.
and getting the antibiotics and the plan B immediately.
Right.
Because
Right.
from my understanding, I don't know, I haven't really looked at what my understanding is. Plan B doesn't work after 48 to 72 hours, something in that time range.
Oh, I don't know that either.
That's my understanding. I haven't now. I'll be honest. I have not completely researched that, but I think in the women empowerment movement that they have over the several years, I think that's why the percentages are so low about
Gotcha.
pregnancy
Yeah.
resulting from rape or incest,
Yeah.
because women are reporting
Yeah.
more.
Wait. Yeah.
But on the same token, I feel like my thoughts are I will never agree with abortion. I will never say that's the right option, but I would never look at a woman and say, no, you have to do
Yes.
this,
Yeah.
especially if she's been through something like that, because that is all you can do is just love on them and pray for them and be there for them if they come to you and trust you with that.
Exactly.
It's not your place it's not my place to condemn them and be like,
Right.
you know,
Right.
I
Right.
don't know. I don't know. What are your thoughts now that I'm off the hot seat? Your
No,
thoughts?
no, I love that. Like, I really do love everything that you said because I am probably 100% on the exact same wavelength as you are because I
Mm-hmm.
can't even imagine, especially being pregnant. And with me
Mm-hmm.
being pregnant, it's a product of the love too that me and my husband have for each other to build a family, to have this baby.
Right.
So, like you said, for somebody to have to sit in it for 9 months, I can't even imagine how heart
Right.
wrenching, how hard that would be, and like you said, there are these avenues for people to take. I think
Right.
you're pretty on the, right on the dot with the hourage of what everything is with the plan B, but I'm with you. I'm not 100%
Mm-hmm.
sure, so don't quote us. But I also really like loved how you also talked about, and I think this is where like it just because
It's muddy.
it really hits close to home for me about you
Mm-hmm.
talking about development of babies because
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if you know this. I mean, I've shared it forever ago, but like we had a miscarriage at 9 weeks and we went to the doctor. Doctor's like, you're not going to see anything. Like, obviously they were going to put me on medicine to like start it, but I'm like, I don't want to. I ended up, quote unquote, having the baby here at my house, I guess is what you could say. Lots of cramping. This can get just a little, I'm trying to keep it clean, but like when I went to the bathroom and I wiped, 9 weeks, you guys, like this is where I think it hits me extra hard. 9 weeks, there was a tiny human that was in my hand. Like, granted, it looked like a tadpole, like kind of, okay, no, that sounds weird. But I can get real emotional, and I don't know that I showed details of this, but it had 2 eyes. The eyes were obviously on the side of its head, and it had this teeny tiny body, and it had hands, and it had feet. And so ever since that happened, I'm just like, I don't know how. Like you're saying, though, it's so little, it's so young. 9 weeks is not very far along when you're pregnant. So, like, for people to like, you know, and with the media, you never know. They like to exacerbate it and say, well, at 30 weeks or this and this. And I'm not saying that there's not places that don't do it that way, but like to look at it and to be like, oh my gosh, like people are actually willing.
Stop that. Spiritual warfare, man. Told you, spiritual warfare, because you were just laying down some stuff. And I'm kind of glad. I felt like God was like, she needs a break. Lacey needs a break. Lacey's about to like have a heart attack.
No, but to end it on that note, I can't fathom. I can't fathom it because my own personal experience, like that me and my husband had, that's where like it hits extra hard. But I am with you where it does get very muddy when there are instances, and my heart is still open. And yes, I know I was coming a little hot and heavy earlier with, you know, keep your legs shut, all those kinds of things. But then again, it's not my place to judge. It's just like in me where I'm like, why can't you like just with your, you know, but I
But
can't,
that's
I
where
don't
our
have,
frustration comes from, though.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like that's where our frustration comes from, because there's a certain level of like, why can't you do the preventative things? Like, and I know mistakes happen, I know accidents happen, but
yeah.
that's not that baby's fault.
Right. Yes, that's what it
And
goes
that
back
and that's the
to.
thing,
Yes.
that's the thing that I don't understand. Like, you're talking about like what you went through,
Yeah. Yeah.
which, by the way, thank you for being so open and vulnerable and sharing that. Like, you need to know, like, that was,
Like,
thank you for that, because that's not things that I feel like I feel like things like that get glossed over.
no,
Like,
it's
especially
true.
for those that are like pro abortion and like it's only pro abortion, like they don't consider, they like to say the fetus. Well, fetus means offspring.
Exactly.
Like, morons.
Exactly.
Fetus means offspring. You know what an
Yeah.
offspring is? It's a baby. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why this is so hard for people, but it's for you to share that, and for to see. And if you're not watching the YouTube video, you're not going to see us like go back and forth and jump in and out, which is amazing that, that's happening. But you can you can like see it in her eyes. Like, you can see in Melina's eyes, like how much there is healing, but that pain never goes away.
Yeah.
So to see that was involuntary, that wasn't your choice. What irritates me the most is when people go through the choice of it
Yeah.
and they're so flippant about it.
Yeah.
Like,
Agreed.
they don't care.
Agreed.
It doesn't bother them. And I will never understand that.
Yeah. No, I agree. My internet, do it again. I really think it's because the universe. Are you there? I'm box dancing right now. No. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say it when she comes back on. You're I think the best is I come back on until Nancy's eating her cheeses.
I just
I'm
feel like
telling
if
you
it's gonna
right
be
now.
paused,
When I was telling this, when it was cutting out, I was about to say it and then it dropped me out. And I was like, I'll say it again when Delancey comes. The universe doesn't want us talking about this. I guarantee freaking
It
you.
really
Like,
doesn't.
it
It
keeps
really
going in
doesn't.
and out. Like it just doesn't want us to. But no, I love what Delancey was saying is like, that's where I don't understand where people can go into it with zero emotion, zero anything with it. Like, it's just like, it's like you step on a bug and whatever, it's gone. Who
Mm-hmm.
cares? Like, it's an ant, whatever. But like, there was a book I read too. Well, I listened to just recently that he was talking about, because he was talking about, I don't even know what it was, but he was talking about how at 4 weeks old, the brain starts to develop. 4 weeks
Mm-hmm.
old. That's when most people pee on a stick to see if they're pregnant. Like
Uh-huh.
4 weeks. I'm like, huh. And so again, I don't know. And I said, like, my experience is very personal and very close and dear to my heart. That's why I feel as strongly as I do, because to see that, and a lot of people don't experience that, but to see that for yourself and experience that for yourself, for
Yeah.
me, I was just like, I don't know how people don't believe that there's a God, because for people, two people, a man and a woman, to create something like that. And like now I have three tiny humans that are walking outside of my body. It's just so crazy to me. And they're beautiful and they're amazing. And I just, my heart goes out, like nothing will ever hurt them. I would totally 100% put my body in front of my children to save their life or anything. And that's where I'm just like, I don't get it. But like,
I don't understand it.
like we said too, we understand there's instances with things where we understand that. So I hope you guys have learned that about us by now, is that like, yes, we are very true to ourselves and what we believe in, but we also
Mhm.
have an open heart to other people and their opinions, and you know what I mean? And we understand that. And we understand we can't change people, but we understand there's also frustration when we're like, you guys, there's so much like, ugh, like it's just, you know what I mean? So
Well, and I feel like it's always amazing to me that those of us who have our hearts open to listen to other people, because like you said, we're not, like, we may be very strong in how we feel, because like I feel the frustration moment where I just want to, I mean, I had someone tell me their, walk me through their decision to do that and their decision to have an abortion, and it was just so flippant that I just kind of, it just makes me really glad that Jesus and I are as tight as we are, because
right.
it took only the compassion of my relationship with God and with Jesus for me to be able to sit there and listen and hear
Right.
this and then offer. And it wasn't even, they weren't even looking for compassion or empathy or prayer or anything. I almost felt like it was almost like a little bit of a, like I was being not tested or tempted, but more of a, again, goes back to spiritual warfare. Now that I'm looking back on it, that makes a little more sense.
Yeah.
And just sitting there and just going, because all I want to do was just look at them and go, are you kidding?
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding? Like,
Yeah.
and get and turn into 20 something year old me that would be like, let me run down the list of why you are dumb.
Right.
Let me run down this list. Like, I don't care about anything. Like, you want to talk about how, and just go down and just basically take everything that they had said and destroy their justification.
Right.
It took everything in, because all I could sit there and think was, I'm adopted. You know the story behind my adoption,
Right.
that proactively made the decision to hide me
Right.
until there was no other choice but to have me, because there were limitations back then,
No,
as there
exactly.
should be,
Yeah.
just saying.
Yeah.
um so for that person to know that, and then to be just so flippant about it, or other people to be so flippant about the my body, my choice. Well, it's not the body that you are, in my opinion, the body that you're getting rid of is not yours.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. No, I agree. I agree
That's not
wholeheartedly.
that's not yours. So it just goes back to the whole entire thing of, I guess it's one of those things that I'm very glad that I've done a lot of personal work on. Sometimes I lose, but when people are so flippant about those things, or they do
Yeah.
the personal attacks, or they tell you that I had someone tell me one time I was ignorant because of my stance on abortion. And it was one of those things of at the points I would make, and they were like, well, you're just ignorant. And I'm like, my response was, oh, because that's an argument.
Right. No, seriously though.
And this is on both sides.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Right.
one of
No.
those things of, and it's totally like, I've seen videos of protesters. I think it's incredibly tacky and in poor taste and disgusting and deplorable to just what you described, to display it on poster board on the side of a highway or the side of a road in front of a clinic. That's tacky.
Agreed.
Like, that is
100% agreed.
so tacky. So like,
Yeah.
I think there's room for improvement for
Yeah.
both sides. But I won't lie, the ones that are so flippant about it do awaken
Right.
Farrell Delancey.
No.
Farrell Delancey, like, the second she hears somebody being flippant about something like that, she's over here going like, little Farrell Delancey that's still in my brain, waiting for that moment. It's just like, what? Really?
No.
Really?
So true.
Tap me in. Tap me in. Let me do this. Let me handle this. And Jesus is in there going, stop. We've worked on this. Calm down.
That so much. No.
But I mean, it's true. It's like you didn't say anything that I haven't thought, or I may not have said, like, to begin with, because and I love how people say, well, it's not that easy to get them. Well, if it's not that easy to get them, then why are there so many?
Right.
And if it's not that easy to get them, then why are you so worried about them changing things?
Right.
Like, I don't understand. Like,
I agree.
the argument of it's not that easy to get them. However, again, I don't know the statistics right off the top of my head, but I just remember reading it and just going, that seems kind of easy to me.
Yeah.
Like, they don't even ask you. Like, there were certain government officials and elected officials that were fighting to have it up to birth, which creates a feral response in me, because there are states where if you kill a pregnant mother, it's considered a double homicide. You can't have it both ways.
It's true.
You cannot have it both ways.
It's true.
And at some point there has to be, I do think that there is, I do believe there's a middle ground. I just don't know what it is.
Right. No, I agree with you on everything. Seriously. I totally agree with you on everything, because like I said, it is a hard topic to talk about, but I think it's yeah. I mean, it's got to be addressed. And here's one thing that I want to ask you too, that like floats around more in like the adoption community, we should say, is people, well, no, I shouldn't say float around. I've only seen a couple people say it, but like that, how do you feel when people say shoot, I can't even think how to word it now.
I was about to say just I don't even know what it is, but
because I want to say it, but I don't think it's going to come out right. I tell you what, here we go. I flipped. Like, oh, what?
Yeah, no. I was gonna say, like, just run with your train of thought, and I'll try to keep up.
Adoption is not a solution to abortion. There we go. I was gonna say it the other way around at first. I was thinking in my head, abortion is not a solution to adoption, but that didn't come out wrong. So, is adoption a solution to abortion? Because I've seen adoption is a solution to abortion, and adoption is not a solution to abortion.
Okay. This is where some people are probably going to be like, what? No, it's not. I mean, the only solution, I mean, it's no, it's, I was trying to think of a way to say it. Is it a solution for an, oh God, it just sounds so tacky. No matter how I'm going to say that, it's just going to sound bad. Is it a solution for an unplanned pregnancy for somebody that is not ready to be a mother? is adoption. I think it is one of the solutions. However, is it a solution to curb abortion, stop a solution to abortion? No, it's not. The only
Right.
solution to abortion is to having an education behind the reproduction and to have an education behind preventative measures and to
Right.
utilize the preventative measures.
Yeah.
That's the only solution
Yeah.
to abortion. And I just, if anyone says any different, I respectfully disagree.
Right. No.
Respectfully.
And I'm with you on that. I love that because that's exactly how I feel too. Because it's just not.
It's just not.
It's not. And I think it goes back to what Delancey said with anything. I mean, we are both very grateful for adoption, but it does come with education of how babies are made. And in Mackenzie and Ryan's episode, if you guys listen to couple, they talked about how none of that was taught, especially to her. Like if you listen to her episode, she talks about how she knew nothing, and how he even assumed it's like, one and done and bam, there's a baby. They just figured that with everybody until they started making friends who had infertility issues, and they realized it's not like that for everybody. So it goes back to the education part. And I know people are going to throw out, well, there's lower income and blah. I understand that. I'm not knocking places where education isn't there. You know what I mean? But
Right.
parents aren't there and those things aren't there. And yes, those kids, it sucks. It's hard. They don't have people who are older that can help guide them, or, those kinds of resources that can help them. But if you're a parent and you feel uncomfortable talking about the birds and the bees, suck it freaking up and talk about the birds and the bees and how your body functions and how the other gender's body functions, because education will not hurt your kids. It will never hurt your kids. Like in that sense, you know what I mean? I don't even know. It's just like, it's just, and it's hard because every family's so different. Every family's so broken. There's blended families, divorced families, all the other kind of families. And whether you're adopted or not, everybody needs that education.
Well, I mean, if you think that's uncomfortable, imagine having to have the conversation about the options of pregnancy.
Agreed. Yeah. No, it's
or
so true.
having to, and especially like if you're a parent, God, I could not imagine this. I mean, like, I could not imagine this. Like being a parent and having the daughter come home and, I mean, having to tell you, tell you that they're pregnant.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then let's just be honest, the parents are going to fly off the handle, because I don't think any parent that has a teenager come home and says that and they're like, yes, awesome, party.
Right?
Like,
no.
I don't think that's going to be their knee-jerk reaction ever, because no. And then they're going to have that uncomfortable conversation,
right,
with the boys' parents.
Exactly.
Let's avoid all those uncomfortable conversations and be honest with the kids up front. And you know what? If you're not, I actually know some families that have done this, and whereas I didn't get it at first, I now understand it a little bit more. But like the parents didn't know how to start the conversation, so they got them a medical book that explained reproduction.
Yeah.
And had them read it, and then they talked about it afterwards. So
that's genius too.
I mean, because like I feel like that's genius, because you keep it medical, you keep it. And I'm not saying go have this conversation with your 6-year-old. Or like, yeah, I'm not saying that at all. Like, I'm not saying teaching them how to read out of a medical book. Like, you have to have these open dialogues and these open conversations with your kids. Keep it. I feel like there's a certain level of innocence that you should keep with your children.
Yeah.
Again, not a parent. I don't know, but I just feel like life is so much easier for children when they have a little bit of Disney left in them.
Yeah.
Because the world's already rough enough. But you still have to have that conversation. You still have to protect your kids. You still have to educate your kids, because that is your responsibility as their parent.
Yeah.
To protect them. And the only way to protect them is to educate them, so they use their brains. Agreed. Hopefully they use the thing between their ears when they're teenagers more. Sometimes they don't, but you want to, I don't know, maybe again, not a parent.
No, but I
Not a parent.
no,
So
but I love
I'm
I love
outsider
your
looking
input
in.
on it. No, I love your input on it. And I think you're right. Like if I think about things like I would like to be like, I'd probably, if Mia were to come home, I think I would probably, honestly, I would like to say I would do
Mhm.
this, but I'd probably freak out. I would probably just start crying because I'd just be like, oh my gosh, okay, what are we like? How are we
What
going
are
to
we gonna
handle
do?
this? Because
Yeah.
I would cry, would be my knee jerk reaction because I don't want her to, like, I don't want to push her away. I don't want to be one of those
Hmm.
parents that are like, oh my gosh, how could you? Why? No. Like, oh, like, I would like to say I wouldn't do that. And in my head, I'd be thinking, what the, lots of, you know what I mean? But like,
Hmm.
then again, I do take the time to educate my kids, but I know also so much education. And then, when hormones and they get older, that just woo. Oh, dang it. The Lancey's frozen. Well, is she slow motion moving? Slow motion. But if you're not watching YouTube, it's probably gonna cut out on me again. So just I just take a picture. Just about it. I was just about to take a picture of you because seriously, I've never seen a Cheez-It put so slow into somebody's mouth. And I'm sitting there just talking like, oh, and I'm like, I need to get my camera out so I can take a picture of her. I couldn't get out. Anyway, like I said, I think the universe really just hates us. So we might need to cut this short because I don't know that we want to keep popping it out about a billion times. Anyway, any last thoughts? We'll start there. Any last thoughts on anything that we've talked about?
I'm gonna leave it at this. You can have differing opinions with people and still be respectful of them, just like Melena let in. If your opinion differs from ours, that's fine. We respect you. Please respect us. And, you know, it's we're growing and developing as people, and
Right.
these are our stances. And I think
Yeah.
I don't want to speak for both of us, but I'm pretty confident that I can say we as Christian women, we're not here to judge you
Okay.
or judge anyone that has
Right.
made this choice, considered this choice, gone through with
Exactly.
this choice,
Yes.
whatever. We're not here to judge you for it at all. That's not our place, because Lord knows I don't want to be judged on the decisions I've made in my past. However,
Amen.
we are going to love on you
Yes.
if you choose to come to us and share your story around this particular topic. We
Right.
will love on you.
Yeah.
We will pray for you. We will be there for you. We may not agree with your decision, but that's not our place to tell you that.
Right.
Our place is to tell you that you are loved
Yeah.
and that you are forgiven.
Yeah.
Even if you're not looking for, now I know there's somebody out there going, I didn't ask for your forgiveness. That's okay. I'm not giving you my forgiveness. I'm just telling you
Exactly.
that God has forgiven everything that you have done, and that I don't want, I'm going to leave it at this too. Ha, too. I'm just going to keep making points and just say I'm going to leave it at this. No matter what you have done, even if it is this decision, if someone out there has told you that that sin of this choice cannot get you closer to God, or you will, or God does not condone, or whatever, I'm going to tell you exactly what our pastor said at church one Sunday. You cannot out sin God.
It's true.
You cannot out sin him. No matter how far away you think you have walked from him, all you have to do is turn back around and he's right there with you again. Period in the story.
Yeah.
So, sorry to get a little preachy on that one, but
No.
I felt very convicted that that needed to be said. I know my opinion's a little muddied. Some people may not agree with it. That's fine. I respect your opinion. Please respect mine. But
Right.
no, you are loved and you are supported.
Yeah. And I honestly, I just have to like agree with everything that Delancey said because I knew me and her had like the exact same. It's like seriously though, no, like knowing her and just
Yeah.
knowing, I knew we would. I knew because I just feel like the people that we are with our, we do have. I mean, we feel very strongly about things, which you guys know by now,
Mhm.
but we also know how to love people, and we know it's not our place to. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I think that's great. No, I love that. I'm going to end it on that with you because I think that was beautifully said. Anyway, I don't know how long this one's going to be, but we're going to cut it out and then me and her can talk after because I'm sick of it cutting us off because it's just, yeah,
Yep.
it probably won't ever do this again because we chose this topic. So, as always, guys, thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time.